welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Robotics Notes Elite. In the last episode, the Robotics Club had a huge milestone. The very first test of Gun Build 2. All of their hard work, as well as that of the JAXA technicians, not to mention Doc Fujita of the Robot Clinic. It's all paid off. To make a long story short, Gunbuild 2's maiden voyage was far more smoother than that of its predecessor Gunbuild 1, considerably so. However, in light of that, something has come up which changes things for the Robotics Club from here on out. And that is, with the success of the development of Gunbuild 2, Kenichiro Tsunomiya, the JAXA chief, has decided to pursue his own passion of eventually one day launching a rocket yet again into outer space. The first time in over 9 or 10 years. And while Kaito and Akiho can appreciate the sentiment, there is a catch to this. Because as a result of this, the Robotics Club have to clear out of the First Osaki offices by the end of the week, which isn't really the ideal time since testing on Gunbuild 2 still needs to be in order in time for the, or rather in preparation for the Tokyo Festival. Not exactly an ideal situation, but it is what it is. And after everything that's happened, why not? After hearing the news yesterday, I've been getting more and more hyped. It's been a long time since Kaito last saw a rocket launch from Tanegashima Island. At this point, I'm practically buzzing with excitement. This is the most excited I've ever been for anything ever. Even more than Kill Ballad itself. The only thing that could exceed Kill Ballad in terms of excitement for Kaito Yashio. I'm kinda surprised at myself. I didn't think I liked rockets this much. Ah, nostalgia. Before my eyes passes a large truck carrying a nearly 4-meter tall cylindrical part, moving at around 2 to 3 kilometers per hour. Prefectural Road 586 was built in 2010 to connect Minami Tane to the Tanegashima Space Center. The road is optimized for transporting rocket parts, and it's pretty much the only 3-lane road on Tanegashima. Naturally, the road was built this wide to smoothly transport rocket parts. It's been 6-7 years since the TNSC would launch nearly 3 rockets a year. The side in front of me knocked me way back in time. At least you'll be around to see it, although having said that, the expo isn't that far off. Whenever it was time for a launch, parts would arrive a few months before launch at Shimama Harbor on the western end. It's a little less than 20 kilometers from that harbor to the TNSC located on the southeastern end of the island. From National Highway 58, they'd cut through the center of Minami Tane, then jump onto Prefectural Road 586. The vehicles move at a walking pace, so when they came through town, there was plenty of time to go and watch. They want to be careful when transporting these delicate rocket parts. And so today, with no classes to attend, I've come to watch. The rocket parts are painted black. The H-2A rockets were painted white, so these leave quite a different impression. When it comes to black rockets, the first thing that comes to mind is the Soviets' Soyuz rocket. But that was painted a dark green, which is not exactly black, but close. Apparently JAXA is entrusting a private enterprise with this launch. That explains why everything's so weird and different from years ago. I understand that this is Kenichiro's endeavor. However, in the past, I'd often come to watch the rockets like this. For one, the road has always been close to my house. And back then, I had a silly, unattainable dream of becoming an astronaut, as did many children back in the day. But most of all, and most importantly, it was a time when Akiho, Kaito, and Misaki were all friends, and together. And Misaki was just as excited as Kaito was. Yeah, one can see where Akiho got her personality. How times have changed. But that was then, and this is now. Like that, Mizune would call out at the rocket parts being slowly carried along the road. Thinking back on it now, she was a pretty strange high school girl. But I didn't dislike that about her back then, or now. I start whispering it, but an old lady standing nearby gives me an odd look, so I hurriedly look away. I can't help as a pained smile forces itself across my face. Maybe I'll buy a hot dog at the convenience store. Why not? Lonso is within walking distance from here, so why not? That'll be the end of my break. After that, it'll be back to my original goal. Hunting down the Kimijima Report. Number 7. Wherever it might be. It's somewhere. And we need to find it.
ゲジネ、今日の探索場所候補を教えてよ。
Unfortunately, we would actually have more luck finding a needle in a haystack than finding this report.
了解しました。
That being said, the report cannot be anywhere but Tanegashima Island, which is our only saving grace. But that's a lot of places to look through, even if they are all sightseeing areas. But by process of elimination, we can narrow down our search. And it's Tuesday. Despite having to pull out from the TNSC, our tests immediately picked up again with the Expo, rapidly approaching. Gotta have to try and shoehorn it in as best we can. According to Subaru, there are issues popping up all over due to the hurried construction. So not quite smooth sailing as we had hoped. We're running these tests to take care of them, one by one. Probably not going to deal with them all, but we have to deal with as many as possible. That's how we go about adjusting Model 2's settings, repeating things over and over again. Until the transport truck prepared for us by Jackson arrives, we have no choice but to awkwardly continue our tests here, while they construct the rocket that they're going to be launching. Eventually. Though to be perfectly honest, I'm more interested in the VAB that's basically right next to us. It's practically killing me. The launch date is scheduled for late February. Compared to the schedule for the H-2A rockets, it's crazy fast. That's just a month away. 4 weeks, give or take. Oh, that reminds me. I saw some people from the mass media earlier this morning. News of the people over at the Tanegashima Space Center planning to launch the first rocket into outer space in a long while. Yeah, there was no way that news wasn't going to break. Apparently the reopening of TNSC has become quite the conversation piece in Tokyo. Yeah, you're gonna have to focus, Kaito. We still have a robot to prepare. Oh crap. Yeah, can't afford any mistakes. I shift gears and regrip the handle of the laser gun. I then fix the iron sights onto the parabolic antenna. When the targeting aligns, the gun automatically fires its high output laser, which then provides electricity. We're currently doing a walking test with Juno as the pilot, and she seems to be actually quite into it, despite her previous apprehension. Maybe Subaru was right about its control capabilities being more generalized. The sight of a giant robot lumbering around is imposing, even more so since we're indoors. We're going to have to do a field test sooner rather than later. That said, the walk cycle is a little bit stiff, which means more programming, more adjustment for error. Its actual steps and overall movement are fairly smooth. It's just that after taking 2 steps, it will occasionally stop for a few seconds. It takes a step, then it goes to move to the other leg. And as it's doing that, there is a bit of a delay. That's when it'll sometimes stop for around 3 to 4 seconds. It's extremely frustrating to watch. I wonder if we will be able to cut that time down. Why is this happening, you ask? Juno is failing at consecutive inputs. Well then, I take it all back. Yeah. Only Kaito can, only Kaito is suitable for, being at the controls, since, they are pretty much, using the kill ballad system. To make Model 2 advance, you just have to input the advance command. However, they'll only move it 2 steps. To make it continue walking as soon as the previous action completes, another advance command has to be input. And Juno is either, well actually not either. Juno is probably both at the same time, or, taking her time to input the second command, or misinputting the command altogether, which would have the same effect. Yeah, repeating this at length will result in uninterrupted walking. But Juno's timing is incredibly off. Yeah, that's because she's not a master fighting game video player as you are, Kaito. Not everyone has lightning reflexes. The command for advancing consists of 3 well-timed consecutive button presses. As for why such basic action requires a complex input, apparently it's for safety purposes. Hence why it was designed that way. We're dealing with an 8-meter tall giant robot. Even taking a single step is incredibly dangerous. Imagine what would happen if someone was standing at its feet and it started advancing due to an accidental input. To prevent that, all of Model 2's actions are said to require at least 3 button presses, one after the other. Problem is that this means that even the most basic process of making Model 2 walk requires a 3-button input. And since she's not used to the controls, yeah, this happens. Kill Ballad has me used to stuff like this, but Juno's no gamer. This might be a bit too much for her. Speaking of which, she doesn't look the least bit relaxed as she controls Model 2. Yeah, so, in other words, her posture was due to her trying to be as concentrated as possible, but overdoing it a bit, unfortunately. Her gaze keeps fidgeting back and forth between the Pokécom control screen and the robot itself. She's such a mess that just watching her is irritating me.
Jun-chan さ、あんまりロボの方見ない方がいいよ。
You shouldn't distract her while she's operating.
でも
視線は常にゲーム画面に向けてるべきでしょ。
Of course you would say that, Kaito.
そうすると2号機ちゃんの周囲がどうなってるのか見えにくくて。
Makes sense that your field of view in an FPS is narrow. I'm used to KB, so this feels perfectly normal. Not for Juno.
だとしたら逆にポケコンの画面は一切見ないようにすれば。
Probably the reverse problem,
営
I'd
業部
say.
長を操縦するのと同じ感じに持っていくわけ。
Might actually be a bad thing for the omnidirectional camera to feed into the Pokécom screen.
どっちつかずで視線がぶれると急な事態に対処できないよ。
Not that Juno's reflexes are very quick to begin with. I know she's skilled at katas and karate, but yeah. Though unlike KB, it's not like we're fighting someone. I doubt anything unexpected is gonna happen. Still, reflexes are important in this case.
分かった。アドバイスありがとう。
But at least Juna's taking it well. That said, I have my way of doing things and Juna has hers. Rather than pushing mine onto her, it's important for Juna to find what works best for her. Everyone has their own styles after all. The robot starts walking again. Moving ever forward. In terms of size, the facility is maybe 50 meters in length. Walking for about 15 or 16 steps brings model to the wall, or rather a shutter. The operator must then input the 90-degree turn command twice for 180 degrees total and head back. Better than reversing. On the return trip, the parabolic antenna is out of sight of the laser gun, so I get to take a break.
それにしても地味ですね。
True, but it is necessary. Very necessary. Nai-san comes up beside me and smiles wryly as she whispers.
地味だね。俺もそう思うよ。
Of course you would. Since you're interested in rockets, not robots.
屋内を前進。壁まで行ったら180度ターン。これを20セット。
That's to ensure that the commands are working and the movements are working as intended. And
次に
correcting
カニ歩
errors.
きでの往復。これも20セット。
That being
それ
said,
を
it
俺と
is,
純ちゃんでそれぞれ行うわけで
it is pretty linear.
前進とターンとカニ歩き基本コマンドのみの反復練習だから
Then again, recalibration is certainly very important, especially with Frau involved.
メニューを考えたのはスバルくん、アキホちゃん。
俺
So you're complaining about the training regiment that you yourself came up with. Why am I not surprised,
ふ
Kaito?
ふーちょっと意外です。
Nai-san looks me in the eyes with a mischievous smile on her face.
カイトくんはこういう地味なのは好まないかと思ってました。
ひどいなそれは完全に誤解だよむしろ俺ほど反復練習が好きなやつはいないぐらいなんだこれでもさキルバラの善人として日々涙ぐましい努力をしてるわけよ
Constant improvement, I see. Even now I'll practice the same KB combo over and over before going to bed. If I didn't do that, my skills would falter, and I'd be surpassed in the rankings by other players just like that.
ごめんなさい。
And also it's very important to have other people who can actually operate Gunbuild 2, aside from, well, Kaito.
でも理にかなった練習メニューだと思います。
This isn't just to train me and Juna, this is so we can adjust the settings as well, which is where Frau and Subaru come in. Frau is constantly gathering telemetry data. She accounts for our habits as operators and then makes minute adjustments. We're getting a feel for the controls. both Yuna and I each have our own unique quirks when it comes to operating Model 2. Frau and the has to compensate with that. Command input reception time. The lag between input and output. Frau said that the UI can be optimized for things like that. It's very useful. Additionally, by providing the auto balancer with experience, the data will allow its precision to increase dramatically. And all this practice will certainly go a long way off. Will certainly pay off at the expo, I should say. Unfortunately, Akiho is not happy at all. Akiho joins the conversation.
これがアニメだったら絶対に視聴率取れずに打ち切りだろうな。
Then again, yeah, mobile suits or rather mobile jackets have to undergo rigorous amounts of testing and calibration. Both pilots and the jacket slash robots themselves.
側もない巨大ロボがのしのし歩いては振り返ってるだけだもん。
That's why it all happens off screen, Akiho.
たまには決めポーズをズキャーンって決めるのを混ぜたりしようよ。
We're not on camera right now, so
あと新しいモーションも考えたい。
we'd have to go on top of the moves that have already been programmed into Gunbuild 2, and oh wait, we can't do that, because that would cause even more complications.
それはここを撤収してハンガーに移動してからでいいって言ってるでしょ。
That being said, we can always reprogram.
今は俺と純ちゃんが操縦に慣れることが大切なんだって。
But we're still limited in what we can actually, make Gunbuild 2 actually perform, Akiho.
そんなの必要ないって言うなら、俺はいつでもこの練習をサボらせてもらうけどね。
Kaito once again trying to continue his search for report number 7.
ごめん。
Among other things. And also raising a point with Akiho yet again.
でもうちだけ暇なんだもん。
Well, that's how it is. The president organizes and delegates, but at the end of the day, yeah, that's just how it
部
is.
長だから全体を統括しろってスバルには言われてるんだけど。
That's basically what a president does, Akiho. Or should do. I like how he's telling the president what she should be doing. Ironic, isn't it? Maybe he's the one actually pulling the strings. Speaking of which, Subaru isn't here for today's tests, for obvious reasons. Not only does he have his dad to deal with, he still has classes to attend, unlike us third years. Please pay no mind to our other second year Frau, who is currently skipping school entirely. Again, for
そ
the
れって逆
reasons.
に言うとうちには具体的な作業はないってことでしょ。
Now you know what it feels like to be Kaito. Half of the time.
ただ見てるだけなのって最初はたぎったけどさすがに飽きてきちゃう。
Well, then again, I can understand Akiho's frustration. After all, she spent most of her time with Gunbuild 1 actually doing maintenance herself. But now that she's been relieved of that role... yeah.
気を抜いちゃってますね。いけませんよ。
That's not exactly it,
アキホちゃんはいわば責任者なんですから。何も問題が起こらないよう全体に目を光らせるのが あなたの役目です。
Even though that's technically what Frau and Kaito are currently doing right now.
それはこれから万博に出ていく時にも言えることですよ。
Although you do have a point there, Nai. Once the Robotics Club goes to the expo, there'll be a lot of pressure on Akiho, because as the club president, she'll be the one who has to front up if something goes wrong.
そうなんですけ
But right here, right now, it's an entirely different story,
ど、やっ
unfortunately.
ぱうち何か作業やってる方が性に合ってるっていうか。
She doesn't like standing around.
組み立てまではアキちゃんが頑張ってきたわけでしょ。たまには休んでもいいと思うよ。
だからうちはもっともっとたぎりたいんだってば。まるでマグロみたいですね。
Curious analogy there, Nai.
マグロ泳ぎ続けてないと死んじゃうんですよ。
My thoughts exactly. Also, I think you have your analogy slightly confused.
あ、そうそう、そんな感じ。
だったら俺が代わってあげるよ。
I think you meant to say shark there, Nai, because though maybe it's the same for all fish, but they have to keep swimming, or they will die. But no, I'm pretty sure that mostly applies to sharks. In any case, I point the laser gun with my eyes.
俺またロケットの運搬見学してくるから。
So he says,
それはダメ。
"Shut down, Kaito."
カイにはこれまでサボってた分たっぷり頑張ってもらわないと。
ああ、そう。
I mostly just don't want to be stuck here doing tests every single day. I don't actually plan on going to watch the rocket transports. The real reason I want to get away is because we've broken to 2020 and I still haven't found the last Kimijima Report. With the Tokyo Expo looming ahead of us, going behind Akiho's back without her noticing your intentions or activities is getting a little bit harder. The reason I skipped yesterday and made excuses is because I'm looking for that last report. After about 30 minutes of watching the transports, I spent the rest of the time searching the island. I've been doing this since the end of last year. No luck. With no classes, I've been searching at night as well. All my attempts have been in vain, and on top of that, my own mother thinks I'm a delinquent now. I didn't think it'd be this hard to find, but it is. Fortunately, Sister Centipede is still operational and has been providing tips as to where the last report might be. But this time even Sister Centipede seems to be throwing in the towel. And all we've got left to go on is a pattern that Juna has noticed with the previous reports. And if that turns out to be a dead end in regards to report number 7, we are literally going to have to look in every single spot on the island until we find it. I'm getting more and more impatient. The Kimijima reports predicted a large solar storm in 2020. May only be January, but that doesn't change the fact that it's 2020. So definitely trying to get a move on. unfortunately, easier said than done. It's completely possible that today or tomorrow, a solar storm of the same scale as last year's, or even bigger, will hit Earth. When that happens, yeah, then the next stage of the Committee of 300's insidious plan will be set into motion. While I'm feeling increasingly impatient, I'm also feeling hesitant about finding that last report. It's not without its risks. Unlike the previous ones, Kimijima Report number 7 isn't a detailed description of the future. Activating it will distribute the Kimijima reports around the world. It's like a key that will unlock the truth for the public. Unfortunately, doing so will almost certainly bring the committee breathing down our necks. I won't ignore this light. As far as I'm concerned, everything contained in these reports is completely true. There's no doubt in my mind. But even then, there's still a 0.1% chance that they'll end up being nothing but lies. Dispersing the Kimijima reports around the world could cause unnecessary chaos, which has me feeling a tad hesitant. This isn't the sort of thing that a rural high school kid should be responsible for. No, but you're the one that's here, so there it is. And what have I got myself into? Yet here I am, still searching. And if it were me, I would prefer the chaos of Kimijima to the Committee of 300, personally speaking. I've already come this far, there's no turning back now. Not after what we've been through. And once again, Kaito's focus is off kilter. Yeah, if you keep this up, Kaito, Akiho is definitely going to be suspicious. Yeah, don't get too distracted, Kaito. The robot has already finished making its turn. That was quick. I can see the parabolic antenna from my position. I hurriedly aligned the iron sights with it. The Model 2 is equipped with batteries. They're rather small. They have a 3-minute operational limit. Unfortunate, but that's what we have. That's why it's ideal to keep the laser aimed on Model 2 as it moves. And the robot suddenly stops moving again, which is a good time to end this episode of Let's Play Robotics Notes Elite, and when we return, we shall continue testing Model 2, going through Kaito's patented training regime. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.